Welcome to the Divorce Talk with Twyla show, where we talk all things divorce, and you will be inspired, informed, encouraged, and empowered. Now, let's welcome our host, Twyla M. Marks, the divorce recovery expert. She is Coach Twyla, the Get Your Happy Back Divorce Coach.
Well, hello, everyone. My goodness, are you excited like I am? It is the season finale of Divorce Talk with Twyla. And y'all, it's been an amazing season. I've had some amazing guests on the show. So I am Twyla M. Marks, aka the divorce recovery expert, Coach Twyla, the Get Your Happy Back Divorce Coach. And my goodness, it's been a busy season. My. I've done 15 shows. I counted it today and I thought, wow, that's a lot of shows. Kicked it off in January, and every week I've had a guest, a live show. We've talked about some amazing topics as it relates to divorce. So tonight, what to expect? You may be asking, Twyla, you've been hyping this show up for several weeks now. Yes, I have. I'm excited. But I have guests on tonight. They're going to talk about some of their the shows that they were a part of, and we're going to just have fun. So y'all just sit back and relax. And I hope, it's my prayer and my desire that you will be encouraged and inspired after tonight, after listening to some of the previous guest shows. So without further ado, oh, and by the way, thank you all so very much for tuning in on tonight, as well as those that will watch the replay. Y'all have been amazing as well. I can't forget about y'all as the followers and the listeners and the viewers, because without you, there will be no show. So thank you all for your support. So tonight, kicking us off, my goodness, is Miss Mary Hughes. Miss Mary Hughes is a special needs coach, and I'm not going to steal her thunder, so she's kicking us off. So let's just welcome Miss Mary Hughes to Divorce Talk with Twyla season finale. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Twyla. How are you today?
I'm so good. I'm so excited. My goodness, I'm so glad that you accepted the invitation, Mary, to be here with me on tonight. And wow, you were a guest, Mary, months ago.
Well, the first month, early in the season.
Actually, it was season. Well, yeah, it was season before. I was still at the radio station. Let's put it that way. But Mary, if you don't mind, tell the listeners and the viewers a little bit about what you do. I know your show is entitled "The Challenges of Divorce with Special Needs Children."
It is. So I'm Marianne Hughes. I'm a special needs divorce coach. And first of all, I want to say, Twyla, thank you so much for having me on your show. I love you. I love your show. Your enthusiasm is so contagious. So I just love everything that you do. And so I'm honored to be on your show and honored to be your first guest on the finale show. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I love the show that we did together. And it was really talking about my journey as a mom of special needs children. I've got 2 kids on the autism spectrum, and what I had to go through in my divorce and how that inspired me to then help others. So I formed a company, Special Family Transitions, became a special needs divorce coach, and I've been so blessed to be able to help so many people through their challenges and work to get them a good result. So I work to help them with the overwhelm and complexities of special needs divorce. It's more complicated and more intense in many ways than a regular divorce. Not that that's easy by any means, but there's so many things you've got to think about for the needs of your kids in the future, present and future. And that's what I try to help to work on.
Yeah. So Marianne, I know when we talked and you were on the show months ago, you mentioned that when you were going through your divorce with special needs children, there weren't many resources available to you. So that was lit a fire, and that was a passion that you developed to start your own organization, Special Transition. So do you feel like that has changed now? There's more support out there for folks that are going through this with special needs?
I think there's starting to be. I mean, there's I haven't seen anybody doing exactly what I do to the extent that I do it, but there are people out there who can help. Some may be financial, special needs planners. Some may be the family law attorneys that are specializing more in that. Some may be state attorneys with different aspects of it. And so there's so many different pieces that have to come together to have a successful outcome for your child in a special needs divorce. And so my side, in terms of the coaching and being there, walking the path along with the mom, usually it's the mom that I work with, to make sure that they're getting through the emotional journey as well as the planning aspects for their child. So yeah, there's some resources out there, but it's no means easy to find them. And so I'm trying to get out there, and especially I created a YouTube channel as well, named Special Family Transitions. And actually I did post the video, even though we did a radio interview, I created a video out of it. And so if people want to watch the episode that we were on, I've got it on my YouTube channel. And so, I love to just kind of spread the word. And one thing I want to share about the show that we did, it was really inspiring to me and gave me a good feeling, because we talked about some theme songs at the time.
Yes, I remember that.
And one of them was "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor. And so talked about how I went from being unexpected in terms of the divorce process and how I came to overcome the challenges. And so I subtitled my video on the YouTube channel "From Surviving to Thriving: A Special Needs Divorce." And so, it's you get through the process and you become stronger throughout the ordeal. And so that's my hope, is that people can even though I don't wish to force upon anybody who doesn't want it, but sometimes it's there, and then you just have to make the best of the situation and get the best result you can for you and your child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So speaking of YouTube, this is your opportunity, Mary, to tell the listeners and the viewers how they can connect with you. I mean, I understand special needs as well. I have a cousin that's autistic. He's an adult, but he's like 32, 33 now. But yes, I completely understand that. So you're right. Divorce is challenging in and of itself, and then coupled with special needs. So I am excited and glad that you're doing the work that you're doing, because there's probably a lot of people out there that need your services. So how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so it's a Mary Ann Hughes, and my company is Special Family Transitions. So my website is also, everything's under the same name. So www.specialfamilytransitions.com. I have my YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram. I even started TikTok recently. So I've got little tidbits of information that I want to put out there about special needs moms in general, things we can do for self-care, as well as getting through divorce, which is kind of goes hand in hand. I think it's a big part of it. But one thing I'm really proud of that I've done is I worked on a team project on inviting mental health professionals on some webinars to tell parents how they can help their children when it comes to special needs divorce. Because like you said, there's not that many resources for the parents, but there's even fewer resources to help the kids. And so that was part of the effort I did with my team to put something out there. And so those videos are posted on my Facebook page for sure. So reach out to me, and people can email me at Mary Ann, one word, MARYANN at specialfamilytransitions.com. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Happy to help.
Absolutely. Thank you all. So folks, reach out to Mary Ann if you or anyone you know that's in this space dealing with divorce with special needs children. Mary Ann, thank you so very much for joining me on tonight. And you keep doing the work that you're doing. It's much needed and appreciated.
Thank you so much, Twyla. I love you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Well, folks, there you have it. That was Miss Mary Ann Hughes. She gave you all the information to connect with her. So listen, moving right along. Now, I didn't go in any particular order. I just picked the shows that resonated so great with me, and these guests are amazing. So the one and only Miss Wendy Sterling, y'all, she talked about boundaries and co-parenting. So Miss Wendy Sterling, come on Divorce Talk with Twyla season finale.
Hi.
Yes.
So good to see you.
Yes, it's been a while, right?
It has been a very long time. It's so wonderful to be here.
Yes, Wendy, thank you so much for being with me. And I know you are a busy woman. You have a lot going on. So
we all
do, right? We all do. We're all busy. So yes. Wendy, we talked about, and this is your niche. You are a divorce coach, but you really hone in on co-parenting as well. And we talked about boundaries in co-parenting, your show. So what can you tell folks, Wendy, about boundaries in co-parenting? That's a heavy topic.
You know, let me tell you, it is one that I tap into almost every weekend. So I walk the walk, I talk the talk, I take my own advice. Boundaries, the way that I define them they are rules, guidelines, and limitations that we create that allow other people to know the permissible ways that they get to interact with us. So I always say that it is, it's the dirty dancing analogy, right? This is my dance space. This is your dance space. And when we're going through divorce, it's so hard to separate ourselves because we've been tied into either an identity that has been created for us or an identity that was created as a couple. And I was guilty of both. Oh. And so when I talk about boundaries, it's really, and how it relates to co-parenting, the first step is understanding who it is that you are as mom or dad instead of ex-wife or ex-husband, because that is boundary number one that gets to be created. Yeah. Because if you're coming into it as ex-wife or ex-husband, all the anger, the animosity, the resentment is gonna be at the forefront, versus when it comes to being mom or dad, the energy level comes down, you're more rational. It's about putting the kids in the center. And so thinking about, instead of looking at, your ex as your ex, it's the father of my children. It is the mother of my children, my kid's mom, my kid's dad. That's and good. So that is the first boundary that you get to set, that doesn't need to be communicated, but it does have to exist within your own mind, because it impacts how it is that you show up in your co-parenting relationship.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So basically what I just heard you say is change the perspective of how you address your ex, or you don't call him or her ex, like you said, kid's mom, kid's dad. So that is, you're saying, when you say ex, that kind of carries a negative connotation. Anyway,
and there's like a heaviness, right? It's like, oh, my ex,
Yeah.
There's like that subliminal, little backhanded, anger piece. And, and it doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve them. But ultimately, what's most important is, when you do that, you're also able to see that all that you need to communicate with that person is about your kids. You don't need to share information about your life. You don't need to know things about.
Come on, Wendy, and say it again for the people in the back.
That it is none of your, it's like Rachel Hollis has this great quote, right? It's none of your business. Like, it is none of their business. It is none of your business. Like, as a mom, I could care, and it took me many, I had to learn how to do this, but it doesn't matter what happened. I care about are decisions that have to do with my children. I care about what has to do with my kids. I could care less whatever my ex-husband is doing with his wife and with his daughter. And, I don't care. I need to know at the end of the day, like, how does this impact my children? That's it. Yeah. That's all the information I need. And there's so many times where, we and our former spouses overshare. And that's another boundary.
Yes.
You don't have to back up anything you say. You just have to say, like, nope, doesn't work for me. Or that's great. I don't think I'm the right person for you to talk to about this, right? Just cut it off, because they get to understand that, like, you're not their person anymore. You're not interested in having that type of a relationship. Now, that's not to say that if you want to be amicable and if you want to be friends with your ex and you're at that place down the road, fantastic. However, most of us are not quite there in the beginning. And so it's really about learning how to keep your distance and being firm and flexible about what that looks like, and always respectful and kind in the process.
Right. Yeah, that's not an overnight process, folks. That takes time. That takes time,
practice and accountability.
Years to get there. And if
it can,
and when I say this, it's okay if you're not best friends with your co-parents. That's not everybody's story. And we talked about this, Wendy, on the show. Some folks, they go to dinner or they go on vacations together. If that's where you are, that's great, but that's not everybody's situation. So
exactly. You have to do what works for you, right? Everybody's situation and circumstances are different. And that's why, there's parallel parenting, there's co-parenting, there's versions of each of those. You just get to decide what works best for you. And that's what you get to stand firm in, knowing that that's ultimately what's best for you and your children.
Yeah. And I just saw your little dog run out.
My little dog. There's, people walking around. So I apologize. He's got a mind of his own.
Upcoming events going on. What are you working on? You want to share with the listeners and the viewers, and then your contact information.
Thank you. You're so kind. So I love doing free summits. It's my thing. This is going to be number 9. So I've got a free summit coming up. It's called Loving Life After Divorce: How to Ease Your Fears, Heal Your Heart, and Restore Your Faith. It's a 3-day event. Day 1, I've got 5 amazing experts coming to join me to talk all about the different ways that you get to start easing your fears surrounding your divorce or on the other side of divorce. Day 2, we're going to tackle how to heal your heart. So I'm going to be teaching a lot of my own methodologies and energy healing modalities to the attendees. And then day number 3 is all about restoring faith. And I've got special guests coming in on day 3 to share on top of what I'm going to be sharing. So sign up. Registration is free, and you can find all of that information actually on my website, which is wendysterling.net. And the best way to find me, get to know me, is honestly through my podcast. So I also have one. It's called the Divorced Woman's Guide Podcast. It's a YouTube show. It's on every single platform that podcasts exist. And I appreciate you. You know how much I absolutely love you. And I totally forgot to bring my game hat on today.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so mad at myself. I saw you and I was like, I forgot the hat. I was going to wear my hat. So
good. It's all good. But
we'll just have to do it next time.
Next time. Yes. It's always next season. But Wendy, thank you all. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
I appreciate you as well. And you're doing some amazing work. So I already know you're gonna keep it going.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you coming on. So
thank you. I adore you. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, folks, that was Wendy Sterling. Take advantage. She said free. Now, not a lot of summits are free, but she said free. If you're in the space of divorce recovery, go to her website, check it out, register, and get the healing that you need to go through this divorce recovery journey. So my next guest, moving along here, oh my goodness, is Miss Antonise Davis. I love this woman here. She and we had a divine connection. Now I have to tell the backstory before I bring her on. I met Antonise at a divorce conference last year sometime. And she may remember when I bring her on. My memory's bad. But she and I met at a divorce conference, and I heard her story, and I was about to start a infidelity series, and I was looking for one more guest. I had confirmed 2 guests, and I was looking for one more guest. So I prayed and I said, Lord, I know you're going to send the right person to me. Well, he did. And it's Miss Antonise Davis. So Miss Antonise, welcome to the Divorce Talk with Twyla.
Hello.
Hello. And she's a new mom and all that good stuff. So, Anthony's, you were my first guest on the infidelity series. And my goodness. So, without going through the whole story, because I know you shared the whole story on the show, can you just kind of give us a little bit of that and then talk to us about what you're doing now as it relates to helping others that are in that space?
Yes. So, yes, long story short, shortly, I was pregnant with my second child at the time and I just had my second child. And so shortly after having him, I found out that my ex-husband had another child with someone else. And so I dealt with numerous affairs that my ex-husband had that I was unaware of until after then. And so that changed my life completely. I had to basically make the decision on whether, I wanted to stay or go. And ultimately through a lot of therapy and self-work, I made the decision to leave and divorce. And during that time, I really felt like there wasn't a lot of support or like people that I could really talk to besides my support system, but like that I could really share, what I was going through and that people would really understand. And through this journey, I decided to write about my story. And that's how Finding My Crown came to be. And so I wrote my story entitled Finding My Crown. And through that journey, I met so many women that were like, I'm dealing with the same issue or, similar circumstances, but they had no one to talk to, or they, you deal with the embarrassment and the shame and the guilt. And so it was really healing for me to be able to write down, what I had been through, how I had overcome it in order to be able to help other women know that they're not alone. And they're not alone in dealing with the situation. They're not the only one. They're not going to be the last one. And so telling my story allowed me to create this space to help other women going through the same situation.
Yes. And well, we got to get to the good part, the good stuff. And then you met Mr. Right. After all of this happened.
After all that, I had wrote my story, and I took some time. I was by myself for a while, and just enjoyed being with me and my children. And then God sent Mr. Right along. And so I got remarried. And we had 2 children now. So I had 2 COVID babies, I guess.
You were pregnant, and now you've had the baby since.
Yes, I was pregnant during the show, and so now I've had the baby, my baby girl. She's the last one. And so she ends our blended family. And so that's been a journey in itself. And so I'm excited because now I'm able, now that I've had my baby, and now I'm able to kind of refresh and renew and focus on my marriage and being a mom, and then also getting back to me. And I'm really big in my book and how I help women is self-care. That's what I'm an advocate for. And so I'm getting back to that myself, kind of finding my groove and figuring out, what makes me happy as well, because as moms and as wives, now that we have to also remember that we're still just us, and that we have to cater to that as well.
Absolutely. Now, Anthony, before we end, I want to go back to something you said. You said you took some time. That is so key. Listen, folks, if you are watching this live and you'll watch the replay or whatever, Anthony's just said something very powerful when she said she took some time. That is imperative. When you go through a breakup, divorce, you got to take some time for self-healing, self-care. And it's so important. And your time may not be my time, right, Anthony? Everybody's time looks different,
Right.
folks. So don't compare yourself. Oh, well, she only took 6 months or he only took 6 months. Whatever works for you.
Right.
Your time is different.
In that time, I think it's so important because, like I said, I believe, in the show I talked about, I still believed in marriage, even going through the infidelity and the affairs and all of that. I still believed in marriage, and I still, wanted to, get married again. And so that time allowed me to work on myself and heal myself. So that way I don't take that into the next relationship. I don't take that into the new relationship and my new marriage and have all this baggage, and I can really go into my new relationship healed. And obviously, yes, it's a journey. It's not something that's just, the time happened and I'm good to go. It's a journey, but I'm able to have a healthier relationship, a healthier marriage because I did that work.
The self-work. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Antonise, is there anything that you're working on? Any upcoming events, any new books coming out, anything? And then share your contact information, because infidelity is so, it's prevalent out there, and a lot of couples in their marriage because of it, but some do, reconcile, which is great if that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you working on? Anything special you want the viewers and listeners to know?
Yes. So I, like I said, I was a big advocate for self-care. And so I have my book, Finding My Crown. And then I also have a 90-day self-care journal that you can find on Amazon. And so I'm actually working on some more journals that advocate for self-care, affirmation journals, and a new self-care guide as well. So that is what I am working on, and that's in the works. So you can find me at Finding My Crown on Facebook, Finding My Crown AE on Instagram, and stay tuned.
Stay tuned, folks. Love it, Antonise. Thank you so very much for joining me on tonight. My goodness. And you keep doing the work that you're doing, because you are making a difference in people's lives.
Thank you. And so are you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Love you, girl.
Yes, love you.
Bye. Wow, folks. Well, man, are you all enjoying this season finale? We got 3 more guests to go. Stay in here with me. My goodness. And the next guest is Miss Haley Lisa. She, her show was Men Need Healing Too. My goodness. I met Haley on social media, like most of the guests that on with me on tonight. But Haley is a men's divorce coach. That is her niche. She talks to men, and men need healing too. And I don't remember her show date, but it's been a while ago as well. But let's welcome Miss Haley Lisa to the Divorce Talk with Twyla season finale. Hello, Haley.
So nice to see you.
Nice to see you. It's been a long time. These weeks and months are just flying by. But Haley, what is going on? What have you been up to? I know you're busy. But your show, like I said, was Men Need Healing Too. And I remember some things that we talked about. You went over some healing techniques for men and things of that nature. But I have some men followers as well. What would you say to men that are in this space? Maybe we have some men listening and watching that may have just found out that their wife wants a divorce.
Well, that's a great question. And so good to see you, Twyla. I would say to men first, reaching out for support, I always say to my clients, is an act of bravery and courage. It takes men and women, a lot of courage to reach out. But I say especially men, because, men don't tend to wear their emotions on their sleeve, and, they might not feel as manly or as masculine by needing support, because this narrative that men must be tough and they don't hurt. So that is my first piece of advice, just to first know that it does take an act of bravery and courage to reach out. And, there is support out there for men. It's not that easy, unfortunately, to find it, but I'm here to say that, I've been working with men for 10 years, and they hurt too, Twyla. Just
Yeah,
right. We just don't talk about and discuss that.
yeah, they do, and
Yeah.
I agree. Some men, they're not communicators like we are. They kind of hold their emotions in. They're not emotional like we're just wired different, right? That's just the facts, and we're just wired different than them. So, Haley, let's see. What have you been working on? Or are you working on anything? You got any upcoming events? I'm just curious to know because men need it. They do. And we as women, we want to be whole as well, but we also want a man that's whole, that's not broken, and he's gone through and done the work himself. So share with us. I know you probably have something you're working on. I just feel like you do.
Yes. Well, right now I have taken, a hiatus as far as doing any events. I've just been really, really busy. I'm also spending some time on an organization that I volunteer for, which is called CPU. The founder is Greg Ellis, and the CPU stands for Children Parents United. And, we get so many individuals coming through that platform, which is the Respondent. And so I've been coaching gentlemen coming through that platform as well. So that's what I've been busy. And I've been so busy doing that. And for now, like I said, I'm taking a little hiatus on the events, but doing podcasts, and things like that.
Awesome. I know. I'm so ready to take a hiatus from my show.
I'm sure
I've enjoyed it, but I need a break.
I hear you.
I'm doing nothing as it relates to my show for the next 2 months. So yes, I understand the hiatus, needing a break.
Yes.
So wow. So how can viewers and listeners connect with you if they're needing your services?
Yes. So you can go onto the website, thedivorcecoachformen.com, and on there you can schedule your free 1-hour discovery session with me. I always offer, a free consultation for 60 minutes. And, for me, I feel that, I need to, speak to a gentleman for 60 minutes to realize, if we're going to be a good fit, if there is something I can help him with. And also I can be reached via email, which is the Divorce Coach for Men at Gmail. And also on my Facebook page, the Divorce Coach for Men.
Awesome. Wow. I love it. Because I don't think there's a lot of coaches out there just specifically, especially you being a female, and then your niche is men, that's great. I mean, so you can give them the perspective from a female's point of view. I love it.
Great. Thank you. And yeah, that is priceless. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I am the only female divorce coach for men in the US. And
wow.
Yeah. And like I said, they are underserved. And so I thoroughly enjoy what I do, and it's been great. And the men that come my way have been wonderful clients and good fathers who ultimately want to be great co-parents.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Just had Wendy on talking about the boundaries and co-parenting. So I love that. I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, yes. Well, Haley, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I really appreciate it. And you keep doing the work that you're doing for men, because the good women out here, there's some good women, if I can get my words out, there's some good women that needs a good man.
There's a lot of them out there. There are.
Yes,
Thank you, Twyla. I really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye. Wow. That was Miss Haley Lisa. She is a divorce coach for men. And listen, men need healing too. So my next guest is Miss Terry Vanover. She is amazing. She was on my Bonus Mom, Bonus Dad series. And listen, that series was great. It was my second highest viewed series outside of my Divorce Saint series. And my goodness, Terry and I talked about some good stuff on that show. So Terry, let's welcome you to Divorce Talk with Twyla season finale. Hello.
Hey.
thought you were gonna have a hat on tonight.
I
Gonna
got
have a hat on. Yes,
Don't be
honey.
ridiculous. It's Twyla.
love it.
Sassy
Love
hat because it's summertime. So
I
here we
love
go.
that. Yeah, look, you got to do a straw hat for summer. You'll come in here with a wool hat for the summer. So,
Awesome.
Terry,
This
yes.
is a great show, by the way. I was like, I love all of the coaches. I'm such fans of the other coaches, you know, and just like love the message that you're sending out, and, you know, totally highly respected like guests that you have on. I'm like, damn, they're just awesome. So
thank
good
you
for
Terry.
you.
Thank you so very much. Yes. So Terry, we talked about you were on my bonus mom, bonus dad series, the stepmom, stepdad, however you address each other, and we talked about I know your story. Y'all are friends. Y'all get along.
We are, but I
Yes.
think everyone here has really just hit on how to make a better co-parenting relationship.
Yeah.
It is about doing the inner work on you first. It's not about, and I think it begins with taking accountability for how you are showing up in the relationship, and taking accountability for your own triggers and reactions and your own communication. It really goes a long, long way, because when you blame someone else, you give up your power, you give up your ability to grow and to be in control. So I think, you know, it seems like everyone, like a little piece of everything is so applicable.
Yes. So I love it. And, you know, a lot of people struggle with, what do we call that parent, or the new mom, the new dad, and all of those factors are key. But, you know, the bottom line is, when you do remarry, how is the co-parenting relationship? That's so important. Like, right? To make sure that you have a cordial co-parenting relationship. And I mentioned earlier, don't mean you have to go on vacation together. It doesn't mean you have to go to Friday night dinner every night, every week, but it does mean to be cordial for the children and to respect one another. Right.
And I do believe, and so I agree with what the other coaches is saying. Sometimes having boundaries and a lack of relationship, so to speak, is the healthiest moving forward. But I do believe that if more people did the inner work, more respectful co-parenting relationships could occur. I really do believe that, but so many people have the filter that it's the other person's fault, and they're in this blame game, and they're a victim of their ex, rather than looking at, how am I showing up in this? What's the filter I'm looking through this for? And maybe there's even, you know, honestly, I think, you know, our ego gets in the way, and we really, what was it, something recently about, like, sometimes we even kind of relish when they make a mistake, and almost like, you know, and it's like, see, it's that ego part of us that is, you know, wanting them to fail, versus looking at this is a co-parenting relationship for the kids. And if they rise, the kids rise. And if they're at their best, our kids are only going to benefit from it.
Absolutely. So Terry, are you working on anything? Any upcoming events? You know, what do you have going on these days?
Okay. Yeah, super, always busy, right? So I am actually writing content and really launching this Dare to Date Again workshop. So we talk about co-parenting. You hear everyone talk about, you know, being co-parenting and being in a step family and how difficult it is. And, you know, many families, about a third of families in the US are step families. But the sad statistic is about 70% of those marriages end up in divorce again. You know, the strain and the pressures from having exes and co-parenting and step kids and blah, 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 really deteriorates the foundation of the marriage. So it is really important. That's why I call it dare to date again. You got to become your best.
Yeah.
And so what I teach people is how to know themselves authentically, have those healthy boundaries, like Wendy was saying before, so that you can communicate those boundaries for yourself, right? Before you go into the dating world. And so you're attracting healthy partners who will, adhere to those boundaries and respect you.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well,
so Dare to Date Again workshop coming up on Wednesday.
Oh, this week?
What is? It's only Monday.
Today is Monday.
Wednesday the 26th. Next week. I'm already like planning ahead. I'm so excited.
Okay, well, awesome. So, how do folks register for that?
Yeah, just come on choosingtorise.com, and that's my website, so you can get information there. Put your email in. Also, go to Eventbrite. We're on Eventbrite. All kinds of ways. So.
Okay, so your website is
choosingtorise.com.
And then your social media.
Yep, you can find me Vanover Terry on Instagram, Terry Vanover on Facebook. I'm everywhere. I'm easy.
Love it. Love it. Well, Terry, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on tonight. My goodness, I can't believe it. The season is over and be ready to kick it off again in a couple of months. But as Haley said, she's so excited. She took a hiatus from events. I'm excited to take a hiatus.
I will say thank you for doing this. It's a well-needed message, and I agree with the guest, Haley. Men need support. It's one of those. So and divorce is such a taboo topic. We need to get the message out there that it's not the end. It's a new beginning, and here's how to create the beginning that you want.
Right.
So thank you for bringing such amazing people together and doing what you're doing. Keep spreading the message.
Love. Virtual hug. All right, Terry. Thank you so much. And your hat, I love it. Yes. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow, folks, we have one more guest to go, and they say you save the best for last, but I, in so many words, did save the best for last, because this guest that's coming on next, he was a part of my most viewed, most listened to series of all time, and that is the Divorce Saints series. So, my friend, let's welcome Pastor Kenton D. Wiley, aka Pastor K, to Divorce Talk with Twyla show.
What's going on? What's going on with Twyla?
Yes. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to see you. Glad to be seen.
I know, right? I'm glad you're here. And listen, you were the third guest. Yeah, you ended the Divorce Saints series. Yeah, I had two guests prior, so there were three guests. So, Kenton, now, like I just stated, this series was my highest or most watched, most viewed series of all time, Divorce Saints. And we talked about some good stuff. And one of the things is what I feel is in the church, and I know you're a pastor of NAC, the Never Alone Christian Center, Baltimore, Maryland. But so many churches, I wouldn't say all, just don't want to talk about divorce saints. And divorce is happening a lot in the church. What is your take on that?
I think that it's just a misconception that people believe, I'm a Christian, you're a Christian, we're supposed to last. And that's just not reality. I'm often reminded, not to get all churchy, but of a scripture in Proverbs 24, verse 3 through 4. It says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established, and through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. And this was King Solomon, and he was talking about how to establish a family, how to establish a marriage. And the one thing you don't see in this scripture is you don't see love, you don't see sex, and you don't see money. And we believe if we have these three things, our marriage is supposed to last. And you know, doing this series that you've done and dealing with many people in this space, that many people get divorced and still love each other.
That's true.
They just don't have any wisdom to keep their house together. They don't have the knowledge to communicate, and they don't have the understanding of what marriage really is, because we think that, you know, well, I love him and she loves me and the sex is great. Well, what happens when the sex isn't great anymore? Because sex and money and love, these three things, this is not glue. We think that these are the glue that keep marriage together. And the scripture tells us it's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You have to understand what a marriage is about before you get married. Because when you try to figure it out while you're married, you can wind up in divorce or separation.
Yes.
You have to have knowledge on how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to be a wife, how to be a husband, how to be a child. And I think that the church hasn't necessarily failed in the sense of not acknowledging divorce, but we have failed in teaching people how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to be a husband, how to be a wife, and how to be parents. And when we fail to teach them how to be those roles, and we just push them together in marriage, and they wind up in divorce, and we wonder, well, what happened? Don't they love Jesus? Well, Jesus doesn't have anything to do with that, or whatever faith you believe. So that's kind of where I stand. You know, I think the church, in all honesty, is just we are ashamed that so many of us are failing at what we call holy matrimony.
Wow.
And when you are ashamed of something as an organization, you will tend to put it in the basement. When you go to any corporation, the employees that they are ashamed of, they're in the mailroom. Their hair doesn't look like they want it to look. They don't have the right tie on. They don't have the right attitude. You never put the person with the bad attitude at the counter.
Right.
And divorce has become the bad attitude of the church. So we don't want that at the counter. So it's not going to be a brochure for helping divorce people. Now there'll be a brochure about how to get off drugs, and there'll be a brochure about how to stop drinking. There may be a brochure on how to deal with, you know, your identity, but you're not going to see many brochures on how do I deal with the marriage that was once holy but now no longer together.
Wow. I've got a pen in my hand. I was going to say drop the mic, but drop the pen. But you know, in my counterpart, Miss Amy Pettijohn, on Faith and Divorce Conversations, she wasn't able to be a part of this show on tonight. She's a little bit under the weather, and oh my gosh, and she mentioned that on her show when we had the Divorce Saints episode about the church does what you just said, Kenton, help folks to get off drugs, help folks to, you know, recover from alcoholism. What about the divorced folks? The problem, and you know, and like I said, it's not in all churches, but it needs to change. And that's why she and I have partnered together to talk about faith and divorce and to bring more awareness. And it's our hope that it will change. And
I think it needs to. I think that, you know, sometimes just because you advocate something doesn't mean you agree with it.
That's right. Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, a lot of times, you know, pastors and overseers and leaders of churches think that, well, if we teach people how to manage their divorce, then they're more likely to get more divorces. Well, look, we already batting under 60%. So what else? We might as well try something else, because what we're doing, 50. What we're doing clearly is working at a substandard level. You know, right. So at some point you have to try something new. And as we discussed, I think when we had this conversation, we just have a a lot of churches, not all, it's hard to put all churches together,
Right.
but a lot of churches, if you're just honest, they don't have the resources to properly counsel people before they get married. They have the 30-minute seminary session they've learned or semester, or they have the packet that was passed down to them from their bishop who was 100 years old and cheated on his wife 10 times. They don't have an updated manual, if you will, on modern day relationships. And I think that it's the church is so turned off with this generation because this generation has chosen to live together before getting married. Many of them
cohabitation.
They've chosen to merge their finances, and some of them have chose to have children before they get married. It's the try it before you buy it mentality.
Yes.
And but the thing that makes the church different is the faith that goes along with that. But faith sounds good, but once again, if you don't understand it, if you don't have the knowledge, and if you don't have the wisdom, it doesn't matter what we preach to you or what comes across the pulpit. We have to do a better job of educating, people of faith.
I agree. Wow. Well, you just summed it up very, very well. My goodness. Yes. So I completely agree with you. So Pastor K, how can people contact you? I know your church, but Never Alone Christian Center. But tell the people, the followers and the listeners and the viewers how they can tune in each week.
No problem. Well, I'm on Instagram at I am Kenton Wiley, Wiley, and the church also has an Instagram at Never Alone Christian Center, and we also stream midweek and Sunday on our YouTube channel at Never Alone Christian Center. So you can find us there.
That's right. Love it. Thank you so much, very much for joining me on tonight. It's the season finale, and it's a wrap.
Well, thanks for having me, and as all your guests have said, it's certainly you have a unique gift in this particular space, and you're able to bring people together and shed some positive light on the subject matter. I think a lot of negativity has surrounded divorce for so many years. But you do need to shed some positive light because this is happening. Our children are experiencing this. They're being raised in, bonus families. They're being raised with multiple parents. They're being, they're being raised. So we can't just ignore the subject matter. We have to bring some light to it so people can get the help that they need.
Right. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. Well, Pastor K, thank you so much for joining me. And I know you're out there on the East Coast. It's getting late in the evening for you. So that's it. And I appreciate it. Until next season.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, folks, listen, it is a wrap. This is the season finale. Y'all have been amazing supporters. Thank you for your followership. Thank you for your viewership, all of that good stuff. And remember to go follow the Divorce Talk with Twyla YouTube page. Man, I'm just a few followers away from reaching the goal. And the goal is to get my own personal YouTube channel name. So if you help me, go do that. If you liked any of the content on tonight, any of the previous shows, and also if you liked any of the content on tonight, go listen to some of these previous shows. I did a whole show with the guests that you saw on tonight, and they all were amazing. So y'all know what it is. 2 months, 2-month break. No more Divorce Talk with Twyla for 2 months. The goal is to kick back off in August, but that's it. It's a wrap for this season. Until next season, y'all, this is Coach Twyla, the Get Your Happy Back Divorce Coach. I am out. Love y'all.
What a great show. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, the Divorce Talk with Twyla show is out.